Let's call this meeting to order. Everybody want to stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance.
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everybody. Our fearless leader's off enjoying some time with his son this weekend, I think. So, public notification of this meeting has been published, posted, and distributed in accordance with the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act. Approval of the agenda. Everybody's checked the agenda. Got any issues with it? Nope. Got two. Okay. Hearing no negatives on that, we'll assume that's approved. All right, approval of the minutes. Anybody got any questions, issues with the minutes from last time? Nope.
So moved.
Approve. Anybody got a second? Got a second? All right. If there's no negative comments on that, we'll assume that's approved. And then we'll open it up, public comments. Please limit it to 3 minutes. Does anybody want to say anything today? Nope. All right. From that, we'll move on to the director's report.
Morning. This is the biggest audience we've ever had.
Yes.
It's kind of exciting, isn't it? I just,
Maybe we need to stand up and introduce everybody.
I just had to look. Half of them work for me, but that's okay. It's all right. Good. So welcome to the February board meeting. I'm going to be quick, and then we'll get back up and get into the director's report. But I brought along Marlene Myers, who's our business manager, and she's been putting together our Flying Frog 5K festivities for this year. So she's got a brief put together for that. So I'm going to turn the podium over to Marlene at this time.
I'm Marlene. I'm the airport's business manager, and John and Steve will know and tell you that I'm normally behind the scenes, so this is my first time speaking directly to you guys. But I'm excited to share something fun that's coming up in April at ARW, Frogmore International. I'm here to talk about the 2026 Flying Frog 5K, 10K, and our first annual Frog Fest, which will be benefiting OPFOB, which is a local nonprofit supporting veterans and first responders. In previous years, the Flying Frog 5K was held in October, but it was competing with other races the weekend before and the weekend after. And we thought it would be awesome to switch it up to for South Carolina Aviation Week in April. And we've added a 10K option to attract more runners and broaden participation. So next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, some fun frog facts. So the first run was in 2020, but it was actually a fun run. So there were no runsignup.com participants. So we don't really know how many people were there, maybe 15, 20 runners. But it was decided that in 2021 that it would be an annual event, so it went on runsignup.com, and there were 43 runners, and we were able to raise $24.50 in sponsorship money. In 2022, it was part of the Triple Crown, so there were 77 runners, and there were $2,300 in sponsorships. So the next year when I took it over, we had 55 runners, able to raise $29.50 in sponsorships. But in 2024, we noticed that even though it was on runsignup.com, there were only 56 runners that year. But I was able to get almost $4,000 in sponsorships. So we decided that it probably needed to be changed from October to a different month. So this year, this month, a year ago, is when I started planning for the 2026 race. And so we decided to make it a 5K, 10K, and add another exciting thing, the Frog Fest, which I'll tell about in a minute. But so far, as of today, I've been able to raise $7,400 in sponsorship money. Thank you. Next slide, please. All right, so here are our wonderful sponsors. We're grateful to these guys, including Campbell Oil, TB&E, On Point Residential and Commercial Cleaning, M&L Detailing, Low Country Flight Dock, Go Rentals, and Butler Marine, and we also had some anonymous hangar tenant donations. Next slide. Okay, to make this a true community celebration, we're introducing Frog Fest. This is a music festival with 9 bands donating their time for live music throughout the day. We'll also have 3 food trucks signed up, but we were looking for more. But these are our wonderful bands. We got Chris Jones, Debbie and the Bellboys of Summer, Distant Sounds, The Weekly Special, Walker Dean, Exit 8, Time and Pressure Band, the Hardy Station Band, and Acoustic Bridge. Next slide. So all proceeds from runsignup.com will benefit OpFob, and they provide outdoor activities and community support for veterans and first responders. And this partnership reflects our commitment to giving back and supporting those who serve. At this time, I'd like to introduce 2 very special guests from OpFob, Mr. Jimmy Banton and
Mark Gershman.
Mr. Gershman.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jimmy Banton. I'm the Executive Director of Operation Patriots FOB. Marlene kind of covered everything, kind of what we do, but we are a veteran-run nonprofit here in the Low Country, supporting veterans, actively serving service members and first responders, and along with their families. Our whole mission is dedicated at combating veteran and first responder suicides through outdoor recreation and peer-to-peer engagements. All of our services, all of our programs, everything that we do at OpFob is 100% free to all of our members who as stated earlier. But the biggest metric that I can say is we've been around for 5 years. We've had over 45,000 visits to the FOB, and we've had 0 suicides from anyone who's come there, participated in our activities and our program. So we know what we're doing is working. And I'd like to invite each and every one of you, especially if you're a veteran or a first responder, to please come see us. We've got some more information that we can hand out after the meeting, but I'd like to thank everybody so much for the support.
I would like to point out that I've worked with OpFob at the Don Ryan Center, and great organization. You don't really get what that place does until you go out there and see it. I saw it first of all like 5 years ago, and it's just, once you get out there, it's just an amazing organization.
I gotta admit, I'm a member and I highly recommend it. I go all the time, so it's a great thing. Thank you for what you guys do.
Registration is still open at runsignup.com. Please help us spread the word, participate, and support with this exciting event. It will strengthen community ties, it promotes aviation awareness, and it benefits a worthy cause. Together we can make this a success for the airport, the community, and OpFob. So thank you. Hope to see you there. Yes, ma'am.
The date in April?
April
again?
18th.
Thank you.
April 18th.
Time?
The race registrations ends at 7, but race starts at 8, should be over by 9:30. Frog Fest starts from 10 to 4.
How does it affect airport operations?
It will be closed
All day or just during the race?
till the end of the Frog Fest.
So that's most of the day then, I
Yeah,
would
just
imagine.
like every year, we close the runway for the run portion, and then after that, we open everything back up. So FAA's been notified, they're aware.
But is the runway closed all day or just, okay,
No,
just during the
Just
run?
during the run?
Just during the run.
Okay.
So the runway will be closed during that run portion. Once the run is completed, then that.
It's
after we
it's just
do
a
our
party at the
clearing-
airport with
Yep.
airplanes landing.
That's right.
cool. All right.
Once we clear it, then it's open back up for the rest of the day.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for that, and glad to have OpFob on board too. I've worked with them and a couple other organizations that I deal with as well, and great group. I haven't been out there yet, so I really want to get out there, but we've kind of talked amongst our team that we think that that's, I mean, we got a ton of veterans on our team, a bunch of Marines and stuff. We don't have any Navy yet. We've got Air Force, we've got some Army. We don't have any squids, so maybe they're afraid of all of us Marines. I don't know, but we'll try to, get some more. But we're excited about it. It's a great organization. I've worked with Jimmy on some other stuff, and so we've kind of, I guess, informally said we'd like to make that our cause. So maybe we'll bring that to you guys formally at some point. But that's kind of where our hearts are right now. So,
John?
yes.
I think this ties in so well with what the airport did in recognizing the retired vet that came through our airport recently. And so I would like to see us expand on this, and maybe even, I don't know if there'd be room to have a little office, a little area at the airport for this organization. I don't know. They might. Coming from San Diego Airport, they did it big time. That's how they did it. They actually had a USO and everything there. But whatever we could do to support them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big, obviously a huge military area here as well. So it's not hard to market these ideas, so people get excited about it. So we're glad to be a part, and thank you guys for what you do. Yeah. I love to shoot, so. All right, so good stuff. We'll get the director's report going here, and I don't want, if you guys do need a split, don't feel bad about cruising. You won't offend me, and you won't offend them, so everybody's busy. So, all right, that's our winter storm out at Hilton Head. the Snowmageddon, as it is, I guess, or as it was. We did get pretty lucky this year, so we chuckle about it. We closed down just for a few hours. I think we shut down just after 1 in the morning, I think, Sunday morning. But once that, even though it was cold Sunday morning as the sun came up, the sun warmed everything up pretty quickly. And I think it was around 11:30, Steve, something like that, that we were able to reopen for full operation. So the good news was we didn't have any HXD-caused cancellations. There were cancellations just because of what happened in other places. So Charlotte had some snow, and then, of course, airplanes getting to Charlotte from other places had weather. So we did have flights canceled on Saturday and Sunday, but we're back full bore commercial on Monday, and GA was open on Sunday, so everything was good. We did close ARW down for just a little bit too, but ARW thaws out pretty quickly. So we got pretty lucky with that one, so we're thankful. And I thought winter was over, and then we had today, so who knows? That's just low country weather, I suppose. All right, quick update on the terminal. Things are going very well. Look at the jet bridges. That's pretty exciting. First time ever, obviously, that we've had jet bridges at Hilton Head, and I've walked through them and climbed on them and gone over them and under them and all kinds of stuff. So they're pretty exciting, and they're the latest, greatest. They've got all the new stuff on it. So they actually get operated kind of like a video game. There's a screen and a joystick and everything, so you can drive those around. We're not moving them yet, but there'll be a lot of training that happens with the airlines and with our staff as well. So we're going through spare parts lists and figuring out training curriculums and things like that for our folks so that we're ready to address small issues that may happen and then figure out what we need to do for rapid response for larger issues. But hopefully, being brand new, not too much happens right out of the gates. So that's going really well. And you can see how the buildings come along in the other pictures there, and then some more of the fencing going up along the perimeter. So things are progressing pretty well there at the terminal. This is what the inside is starting to look like. You can see some of that terrazzo getting polished up there by the entrance. That's on the bottom right. And then that bottom center is the new TSA screening checkpoint. So that terrazzo is complete there. And in case anybody is wondering what the design is, I did. And so I had to ask the architects. I said, what are these pedals we're putting in the floor here, guys? You probably told me at one point, and I've forgotten. Those are water hyacinth, and they are kind of peculiar to, I guess, the low country area, but it's kind of a rare, marsh plant. Kind of neat. So we're going to make sure that there's a story in the terminal that so when people look at the floor and say, what in the world are these pedals, they'll find a little story on the wall about those. So it was kind of unique, and we really want to tie the environment in with the terminal. So we thought that was pretty fun. So you can see right now everything that's going on inside the terminal has to do with the terrazzo. So everything else is kind of stopped because they have to get that finished, and then the last details will happen with everything else inside the building. This is a view from outside. I'm not sure who's standing on the roof there, but I'm sure they were properly harnessed and had all the OSHA requirements met. It was not me. They don't allow me to go that high. But anyway, you can see the landscaping getting installed, and things are really shaping up out there. So we're excited about that. The final soffit work and things like that are happening on the building, so that's all getting buttoned up. And like I said last month, if you haven't been there to just take a look at the outside of the building, Dr. Roth was there recently, so you got a chance to see that. But it's really coming together, and like I said, it's a real kind of relaxed feel of a building. It does not scream government or institutional the way it kind of used to. So we're really, really excited about the aesthetics of this. And the landscaping's come along great. And we've got some more stuff going on. Is this where we talk about the entrance? Or do you want Steve to do the projects first? Okay, we didn't choreograph this very well, so. All right, I'm gonna hand this over to Steve and let him do the quick projects update.
Thanks, John. Morning or afternoon or whatever. Yeah, it's still morning. Busy days. Not going to dive into terminal expansion too much. John already covered that. But one key thing that I wanted to point out is I'm learning that the closer we get to completion, which we're getting there, and it doesn't feel like we're creeping up to completion anymore, we're noticing as the airport, there's a lot of items that we have to take into consideration when it opens. Keys. Nobody ever thought about keys. Who's going to manage the keys, the secured keys, if there are any, locks, master keys. We're dealing with that. We're dealing with, like John said, the spare parts. What spare parts do we need for a jet bridge that we've never had before? Airline stock, printer paper. What kind of paper do they require because we're using common use? So we're gathering all that information and we'll hand out responsibilities within the airport staff pertaining to that stuff. So we're ahead of the game, hopefully, when we get into it. Kind of want to visit our master plan update. It's been talked about in here before. The stakeholder meetings, we're really wanting to get the stakeholders back together, but a few things the airport had to do. John and I went up to with our consultants to the FAA. I think we mentioned it the last meeting. And there's some items that we have to not correct, but pay attention to, get coordinated before we're able to get back to the stakeholders. But the stakeholder meeting is top of mind for us, so we're working hard with our consultants on that. If y'all remember, there's an airfield draining project which changes out the grates at the airfield years ago when we increased the runway length way back in 2018. The classification of the airport actually changed. The original grates were there, were not weight capacity for aircraft. Now they fall within the zone. We have to get new grates. That project's starting to move forward. One of the things that was in place with the stormwater piece of that was a plug that had to be removed and a weir wall that had to be constructed. That is now complete. That's been weighing on John and I for several years to get that done and who can get it done. That piece of the project's done. Casting is going to take 8 to 10 weeks because it's a unique piece. So the vendor who's doing the casting is working on that. Elite Parking, if y'all remember, they are a parking vendor. And the idea behind their system is tag readers, right? So the camera reads your tags, time starts. The problem with those that we've encountered is our parking lot at the terminal, extremely unique. Dr. Roth, you probably noticed it. It's not your average everyday parking lot. There's exits, main exit, there's our entrance, then there's more entrances inside the parking lot. So where do you put these things? How do you do that? We reached out to our consultants, Talbot and Bright, to put together a parking study. Adding to that, show us where we can put legitimate entry gates and exit gates. So that's a project that's kind of growing. In the meantime, my staff is working on placing temporary gates in there so we can start generating that revenue that the vendor promised that they were going to get us out of that. Just a fun fact, I guess, about that. The vendor came in and we met with him last week and he counted 78 cars in the parking lot, and he went and looked in the system and said, we got about 18 that have paid. So that's how much revenue we're losing via the honor system, which is the same honor system we have with the last vendor. So that's the reason we need to get some type of permanent or temporary gates in place. Let me see, moving over to Beaufort Executive. As y'all know, the runway rehab is complete. There's one item left out that needs to be done, and once the weather clears up, the pavement markings in some areas, the painters have to come back and repaint those markings. After we got through that in the contract and said, yes, they have to do it. They're waiting on the weather to come and complete that. Then it'll be 100% complete. And then one thing that's really going to help out Beaufort Executive is extending the parallel taxiway, which the pilots that fly out there, you know what I'm talking about. We're encouraged for that. That's well underway. So there's a lot of items that the consultants have to garner well before that time. Geotechnical surveys, things like that. All that stuff has been provided, and the consultants are now putting together, working on the plans and electrical and whatever else we need so that we can put this out for bid, and I'm looking at spring of 2027. So going out for bid in 2027 is a good thing. That way we can get that rolling and get the taxiway extended.
Is that funding secured? I mean, we've got the funding for that, or is that to be
That's
approved?
that'll be grant funding.
Okay.
One last consideration too, and I know everybody, the site work for the hangars, I can talk offline about some of the internal things that are going on, but we're waiting on a change order, possible change order for a fire hydrant out there. We're working through that. And the AWAS system, as you know, that doof ladder there, it had to be removed. The FAA approved a place for it to go. We have a work authorization in with the consultants to do the final design and bidding plans for that, so we know that where the AWAS is going, it's going and it's right, and we don't have to tear it up again. So that's where we're at with those. Questions, comments, concerns? Staring me in the face. One last thing, back over to HXD, we are nearing completion for the tower renovation. And in this pictures, it's kind of hard to see. The top two pictures are what it looked like, the countertops in the cab. And this is kind of the last thing that we're doing was the cab work. And then the bottom picture, we had new countertops put in there. And that supports some of the new comm equipment that I got a couple of years ago to upgrade all the comm equipment in the tower. So now that comm equipment is better supported, user ability is better supported, and one of the things that was asked for was the ability to use the restroom, and we have a private restroom, kind of a, I want to say it looks like a box, almost something you would put in a camper, not a portable restroom, but it looks like a desktop. You open up a drawer and there's the ability to where they don't have to leave their post and go downstairs. They can do what they got to do up there. So they're happy about that. That's there. It's installed. We're waiting on the plumbing to get connected, and they're very happy about that. So I'm excited for that thing to be done. One of the things we did add on change on it is if you've flown into Hilton Head, the beacon was on top of an old tower in a location that wasn't great. Our maintenance really didn't like climbing that tower to change out a light bulb, so we had the beacon moved to the top of this tower. So now they have stairs, and it's much easier to get to. So that was a good change too.
How many controllers are in this new room at one time?
It's capable to handle 2 controllers. So, for example, they have a frequency when the aircraft is flying and approaching into, and once it gets on the ground, they have a ground frequency. They have the ability to have those 2 positions in that tower, but they work it with 1 person because we don't have enough traffic most of the time. Saturdays and Sundays are busy days. They'll have 2 guys up there working that. So in that case, they got the ability to say, hey, I'm going downstairs. Another guy can handle it all. But normally during the week, slow times, there's only 1 controller up there.
You mentioned communications equipment and things like that. This is maybe a tangential question, but a few months back, we talked about installation of the surveillance system. And where is that status?
Surveillance, so you remind me.
Where the
Radar repeater.
like the radar.
Okay. So you're speaking of the
Like the ads,
UAvionics, the
yeah,
radar
yeah.
viewing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that. As a matter of fact, I sent out an email Friday confirming we have all the equipment for that has been delivered, and that's what UAvionics wanted. They wanted the equipment delivered. We had some fiber line that we had to run. We have that run, so now we're scheduling when they're going to come out and spend the 1 to 2 days to just hook everything up, and then they'll train the controllers on how to use the system. So my email went out. It says I'm ready to schedule that date for you guys to come. So I'm waiting on to hear from them what day they're going to come.
Great.
Hopefully next week, if not the week after.
Steve,
So-
what coverage will that, I'm sorry, what coverage,
Just
what
like
geographic coverage will that provide?
So just kind of
center of the
review a back face. It matches what a no kidding radar screen would look at. We had to be very specific with a square screen so everything matches and fits within that square screen. But they will see the same view that a radar system would see, and they tap in somehow to be able to have the same information that controllers are used to. So they have all of that view, and it looks almost identical to a true
The
radar
radius
system.
from the center of the airport would
The
be
same
5
as
miles,
the
10 miles,
same
20
as a
miles?
radar. They have those circles, you know, the 5 miles out, the 10 miles out. I think it goes to 25 out on
Like
that
30.
outermost radii,
30.
maybe 30. Yeah,
Okay, good.
definitely. So they have a really good view, and it's the same radar view that they would get.
They'll know you're coming before you call them.
That's right.
And the
That's
controllers
the
can
point.
legally use
No more
that.
reporting 3-mile finals.
To know they're coming before you call, and to see anybody else out there that they can't see with the naked eye. So that's been a problem. So
You think this will be up and usable then for all the heritage traffic?
I think it will. Yes.
That'd be great, yep.
Don't quote me on that, but I
Yep.
do think it will.
Is April still the opening time for the terminal?
Don, you want me to hit that?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking mid, probably.
For the terminal is what you're talking about, yeah. Okay. Anything else for me? Howard's not here to beat me up. Well, I guess he is here. If he's online. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Dick.
Yeah, whatever next. All right, this is a fun one. Marlene and Rosia have been working on this, but since we'll be opening up the terminal in the spring, we looked at the entrance, and if you recall, we redid that whole entrance several years ago. It used to look like you were driving through a cave to get to the airport, so that's been cleaned up. But we're going to do kind of the next level of a nice entrance. So as you drive up and down 278 and see the Palmetto Dunes entrance and Port Royal and Indigo Run, all those nice places with the beautiful landscaping, we're going to do that. So we're going to the next level. We feel like that's important on Hilton Head Island. So we solicited some proposals from a few different landscape installation and maintenance companies, got those back, and we selected one. We're going to work with the Greenery, and they put a great plan together, so we're looking forward to getting that installed. So they'll do an initial installation, and then we've got a maintenance agreement with them as well, so they'll take care of that front entrance, just the entrance. We have the rest taken care of. So they'll be concentrated up front. But another part of that contract is that 4 times a year, as kind of you see at the plantation entrances, they'll redo the annual seasonal color. So we'll have some permanent landscaping out there, great palm trees and things like that. But then each season they'll come through and update with some fresh new look. So it'll be a really nice feature out there that'll go along well with the new building. So we're excited about that. All right, next one. All right. Oh yeah, Dr. Roth, welcome aboard. He had the official welcome. He was able to come on a visit out to the airport along with some of the folks from the Hilton Head Island Chamber Leadership Group class this year. So he got to see everything. Did you get to ride on the fire truck? I don't remember. No, okay. Well, if you want to at some point, I'm sure Chief will take care of you. All right, keep moving along. We'll get this moving. All right, new team members. We're growing the team out there. We probably mentioned to you over the last year or so that we were stopping some contracts with outside agencies and bringing those folks on board to be our own team. The 2 main places we're doing that are in our security team at the terminal and around the terminal, and those are the folks over on the right side of the screen. And the other group that we're going to self-staff and perform is all of the grounds maintenance. So we had previously executed all the grounds maintenance inside the fence. Anybody who had to wear a badge were our people. But then outside at the terminal and that, we had that contracted. But now we're taking that all on our team, added a few folks, and what that allows us to do is just, we have a lot more flexibility and a lot more accountability with our own folks. You know, you end up, some people, you have that debate about contract work versus employees and pros, cons, costs, you know, financial costs and that comparison. But at the end of the day, we are such a tight team out there, and we need that flexibility so that we can move people around and have different tasks done. And it's already proven itself very worthwhile, because we've been able to focus some of these new folks on the fence line and get a lot of overdue trimming and cleaning up done along our fence line, which is, you know, obviously a security concern, as well as just normal fence line and wildlife control concerns. So they've been able to already make a difference. So we're excited about that. Safety team just started February 1st. So these are the folks, you may recognize some of the faces. They used to wear the Securitas jersey. Now they came to us to come work at the airport. So they're already trained. We just grabbed them, and they're doing a great job so far. So we're excited. They're also going to double as kind of information people out there. So as you know, we've always kind of had the ambassadors in the summertime, but these will be complements to that, and these folks will be there year round. So not only are they keeping the flow of traffic and people moving, but they actually know what's going on inside the terminal, where everything is, and they can answer some basic questions and get folks squared away. So again, that's kind of the benefit of bringing our own folks to that task, so that they can do more than just, I say just security, not to underscore that, but they'll bring some great new aspects to that job, I think. And then our new ARF officer there, Tian, youngest guy on the team by, I don't know, 3 decades or so, but I'm kidding. Jeremy's probably the youngest, but glad to have him there. He does bring some new energy to the crew, and I think he's going to keep some of our guys on their toes. So glad to have Tian as well. And then some of our maintenance guys on the left there, Tad and Adrian. You probably recognize Tad. He went out on sabbatical for a while and then realized that he loved us and came back. So Tad and Adrian are a great crew. They have done probably more in the last 3 months than we've seen done in a long time. So they're eager beavers out there getting things done. So we're excited. Good team. All right. All right. That's just some pictures of the leadership team who came out, and Dr. Roth was with them too. I don't think did we get him in those pictures? Oh, this was the other group. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We had them out in 2 stages. So we gave him a chance to see the terminal and everything around the airport. All right, this was a funny one. This had really nothing to do with us, but it was fun. So we wanted to show you that the airport, it's a fun place. So, you know, every now and again, you get somebody with a happy birthday sign or an anniversary sign. Well, this person went to the next level. So it was pretty exciting. And actually, was it Kathleen who took those pictures? Yeah, so Kathleen, who's now on our security team, used to work for Securitas. She's the one who took all these pictures. So she notices all this fun stuff going on, and that was kind of fun. So the airport's a place for love and fun. Yeah, I don't know. That's pre-security, so they can wander around those suits. You know, once they go through the checkpoint, all bets are off.
Yeah.
That would have been a fun one.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so you've probably heard about Real ID. Well, if you just haven't done any of that in the last decade that we've been talking about Real ID and passports, if you've just been asleep at the wheel, you can still fly, but you're going to have to pay this new Confirm ID. So it's going to cost you $45, and it's every 10 days. So if you fly somewhere for 11 days, you're going to pay it twice. So just, go get your Real ID. All right, that's that. If you're confused, go to the TSA website, and all the solutions or answers are there. Grand opening events, we'll have a lot more information coming to you. Again, I hate to dance around the opening date of the terminal, but it is moving because things are happening. We added that bar that's going to happen in the concourse. That pushed us a little bit because there was more work that had to be done. We had some change orders, but that's worth it. So we'll get you information on the grand opening events. We'll do an official ribbon cutting with the chamber, but we're also going to have a kind of an evening event, invite-only event as a grand opening. So we'll get that to you. Heritage volunteers, it is a season. RBC Heritage is coming up very, very quickly. So April's rolling around. So just remember, we do have that skybox type thing on the 10th green. And I always say we're also on the 16th tee because we're kind of right there. If you lean too far out, you might get hit with one of the drives off of 16. But it's a really cool venue. So if you haven't had the chance to volunteer out there, Rocia's probably going to end up coordinating that, but it's really cool out there. It's a fun way to see the tournament, but it's also a great time to interact with a lot of people who need to know about our airport. We've made some great contacts. Leslie's been there, Rich has been there, Tom's been there. Who else has worked out there? But it's a fun time. So if you guys want to volunteer, it's a great people watching, and it's just fun to be right out there at the green too. 10th hole is not an easy playing hole, so it's fun to watch those guys come up. So, yeah.
Leslie and I were talking earlier, we think that, that Heritage Week kind of combines up with,
It does, but it's just the Flying Frogs is Saturday.
yeah.
So, Mark, you'll be able to run the race, get a shower, grab a burger on the way out. You could fly down to Hilton Head, Mark. So there's no excuse for you to not do both. Okay?
Except the transportation from Honeyhorn is tough to get onto the venue.
Well, we know
Certain
people.
hours.
We know. We get you.
We
We'll
know.
get you out
Stopped me
there.
the last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know people.
All right. So Mark's gonna run. Marlene, look for that sign up. Okay. All right. That's official. Great.
Think
Thanks, Mark.
I'd rather donate money instead of run.
Well, we'll get you out there pointing the runners which way to turn. How's that?
Yep.
A lawn chair? Does that sound good? Lawn chair and a cooler? All right, good. All right, and then finally, the SCAA conference, yearly conference is happening next week. So Steve, Brandon, and I will be going to that. And Steve talked a little bit about the common use system going in the terminal and how we have to coordinate some of this stuff because it's all new to us. Along with that, along with attending the conference, Steve and I are going to go over to Myrtle Beach. They have the same common use system that we're going to have, and we're going to do some kind of chalk talk and wargaming with them to learn more about where the boogeyman is in the system so that when things start to happen, we can anticipate that as best we can and have supplies or the rapid response IT team ready to deal with this stuff. But we'll spend some time with the staff at MYR to deal with that too. So kind of a good way to kill a couple of birds with one stone while we're up there. So I think that's all right. All right. That's all we've got. Thank you.
Well, that's a good director's report. Thanks, John. Any unfinished business? I don't think we have any. Move on to new business. We get on to the action items there, so.
All right. Steve, do you want to talk about this? I would. The first vote is Steve's business, not mine, so.
First up on the action item is that contract award for Low Country Commercial Services. It was due. We had to put out a bid for the janitorial services at the terminal at the airport. And I will say, when the bid went out, we had and I don't ever want to say an overabundance, but we had a very good reply, an amount of bidders, right, Rich? I know you saw that. So we had to go in and we scored every single one. We looked at every single one, so much so that, well, there were so many that bid on this project. We brought the top 5, I think it was, the top 5 back in, and we interviewed those guys, and then we rescored those again. Personally, I will say I'm happy to say that we have had 0 issues. If they're very minor issues with our current contractor, which is Low Country Commercial Services. And after the interview process and the scoring process, they won this again. So they'll continue to be our janitorial service in the hangar. And remember, this bid is taking on the new side of the terminal. So we're more than doubled the space. That terrazzo floor you saw, they have to do training on that, on how to clean it and take care of it. So there's a lot more involved in this contract going around than there was. And that's why we put a lot of emphasis on who we're going to have in the terminal from June, I think it's July 1st? July 1st going forward. So Low Country Commercial Services.
I will say that during my time during the ambassador past year or so, they seem to have always been there getting things
Absolutely.
done.
Yep.
Every time you turn around, somebody is cleaning something, doing something, picking something up, moving something.
It seems like they're there when you need them, and they're invisible when you need them to be invisible. So that's what we like about them.
I take it the contract is probably going to include a little more money because
It is.
aren't we going to need more people with the size?
More size, more people. So, and we did notice that all the bids that came in were significantly higher than what we're currently paying, and we had to put it in perspective with the new area and the new things. So yes, it's gonna be more, but our revenue, like Brian will go over later after this meeting, it definitely covers that.
The cleaning those terrazzo floors takes machines, right?
Machines.
And that they have those machines, or the
Yep.
airport's gonna have them.
Yep, in the plans, we have a parking spot for that machine as well.
Okay.
On the new side, so.
How long's the contract?
It's 1 year renewable up to 4 additional years, so totally 5 years. Should everything renew automatically for the remainder 4. Okay.
All right, no issues. Do we want to get some motions?
So moved.
Got one here, got a second? Got another one there? All right. If anybody has any issues with it in the negative, let me know. If not, we'll show that as approved. All right, next one is Hilton Head. I'll let you.
Right, these next 3 are pretty simple. If you wanted to group them, you probably could. We apply for, through Hilton Head Island to the town, ATAX funding each year to do some of our inbound marketing. So that's anywhere beyond 50 miles and coming in. So we're doing Washington, Chicago, New York, so we're well outside 50 miles. But that's what that covers. Each one of these different programs requires board approval. So if you've got a governing board, then they just want to have a copy of the minutes that says you understand that we are applying for that, and that's how we're going to use it. So the first one is Town of Hilton Head Island, and then the next 2 are Beaufort County, and those are for the hospitality tax. So the difference is A-tax is a bed tax, so you stay in a hotel, you're paying the A-tax, and then hospitality tax is for prepared food and beverages. So you'll see those when if anybody looks at their bills anymore, you'll see that on the bottom.
You just have to officially apply for those grants from the county and the city.
That's right. And each one of those just wants us to check a box that says you folks have approved that we apply for them.
When you apply, but then after you apply, then we don't know yet what those grants would be yet. That comes later.
Right, so we'll apply for a certain amount, and we have to specify what we intend to use those grants for. You're not guaranteed to get the exact amount that you apply for, so sometimes there's some whittling after the receipt.
Asked for each of the, or what we've asked for in the past, or what kind of benchmarks there have been?
Well, the A-tax from Hilton Head is usually pretty steady. We asked for, I think, 175 this year, and I think we received 160. And that's completely marketing money. So that's for all the Expedia campaigns and things like that we're doing. It's a drop in the bucket. I mean, we could spend that in a week, but that's an annual number. And then with the hospitality tax, the good thing about there's different rules that govern the use of those funds. Hospitality tax can be used a little bit more locally, so that's nice. So some of our local efforts we can use hospitality tax. So that might be local radio, TV, billboards, events that we're going to work on. They can also support tourism infrastructure. So if we have, something on the airport that is really kind of designed for visitors, we could potentially apply that money towards a project like that. So we work through all that as we put the applications together. So we can certainly brief, each subcommittee if we need to, but you're going to have to remind me to do
Curious
that.
what, usually what we get in the past for those types of things.
Does the chamber promote the airport as part of their Hilton Head promotion?
Well, we do cooperative advertising with the chamber. So the lion's share of that money, of the A-tax money that we get from Town of Hilton Head coffers is done, we cooperate with the chamber. So they'll market the destination, we'll market the airport, and we do a co-op set with them. So we do, and they do work with us. And I'm on the chamber board as well, so they've been big supporters, and they're going to do the ribbon cutting for us at the terminal and everything. So
this tourism money goes to the chamber, mostly to A joint,
tax money?
yeah, a joint venture type thing to promote the airport, or?
Well, our spend, now we do a co-op program with them, so we engage with Expedia, but the chamber is also engaging at the same time. So basically, we get more bang for the buck when the two of us do that together. We're paying for a program through the chamber and Expedia at the same time.
I know you have mentioned this, but you talk about the hospitality contract. We've determined who's going to be our restaurants, right? Is that, we had a contract out on that already, correct? On,
Yeah, that's not what this is.
that's not that kind of hospitality, but.
That's concessions.
Okay, was that contract announcement made as to who's doing concessions?
Back in the early fall, we did. Yeah, we did that
Okay.
months ago. Yep.
It's still tailwinds, or
It
is
is.
it? Okay.
Yep.
But what I'm getting to, are there gonna be local restaurants and local people involved in that contract, or is it all tailwinds?
Yeah, I mean, that's not these items. We can talk offline if you want
Okay,
to.
all right.
This is a different item.
Okay, sorry.
All right.
Okay. Have any other questions? Does anybody else have any questions on, I think we can, is it okay to group these?
I would think so. They're all
Yeah,
they're all very,
applications, so for the
Yeah.
same type stuff. So we're gonna group these 2 through 4. Approve? Got a second? All right. Anybody opposed? Nope. Approve then. Go ask for some money.
thank you, sir. That's all we do.
All right. Okay, chairman update. Well, the regular chairman didn't leave me any updates, so I'm gonna go around the room and say, does any of the other committees have anything they wanna share? You know, kind of committee reports? I don't. All right, citizen comments, we'll go back to that. Any? One brief. Go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. Yesterday, I believe you received a note from Ms. Rosia with regard to procedures that are new. Back in December 8th, the county approved right here where you're sitting some new procedures, and we failed to advise you of that. And it caused a little concern with some of the appointments and the proximity with your seats. As we speak at this moment, I've asked the team to put together a standard operating procedure that would not, we wouldn't forget advising you going forward. So we apologize for the confusion and everything with these assignments. And Dr. Roth, welcome and congratulations on your assignment here. We appreciate it. And with that, you'll see, I would believe, a standard operating procedure put in place going forward. Yes, sir.
If I read it correctly, reappointment does not require the vetting that appeared in that document?
Correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
But it's interesting, Howard Ackerman, I believe, is online for the couple of years that he was Chris Butler, or you now. He would just shift or transfer somebody with in your ranks to a proximity position that opened.
Mute your microphone, please.
Is that's certainly?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I'm mentioning your name that you did like to transfer with the proximity voting. Again, the new procedure that came out December 8th says that is not going to be allowed anymore. It's got to go through the same procedure as appointing somebody new to the board. And you got that note yesterday from Osea, but it wasn't clear in that one talking about that shift that was always done by the chair. So again, you need a heads up to that so you know what's going on.
Each one's gonna be a
So
new.
how many people will be involved in determining who gets a seat on the board then?
You know, Howard, I like your thinking. I appreciate that question. I don't believe it's going to change. It's just got to go through the clerk's office as the, you got to get on to Matchboard and sign up if you want to be a board member. All this new procedure, which I didn't realize we'd never got to you back on December 8th, it just says that you can't just arbitrarily do a shift now. All they're saying is you got to go through the board, like the clerk's office, to do that. And listen, your procedures will be, you'll know this ahead of time. You won't be guessing at this based on what we put together. Believe me. And if you and I leave our spots, which maybe 30, 40 years down the road we'll retire from this, people that come in our places will know exactly what's going on by a standard operating procedure. So there won't be any guessing in this going forward.
John, this relates to, like, for example, Brian's reappointment or something like that?
Absolutely.
So he has to go through the clerk's office to get reappointed?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, correct. And that's why he sat in that interview last week or whatever day it was, the week before. But yes, that's exactly right. And again, you know, some of this was done just by the sheer shifting, as Mr. Ackerman did or whoever did even before that, that was going on for years. So, fair enough. Howard, did we answer that okay, or?
Yeah, I think so. We'll wait till the formal guidelines are mailed out.
Well, we're going to put that procedure together because these emails, I heard from Mr. Bailey here that he wasn't even able to open up.
It's probably my IT
Well,
issue,
listen,
but
either way,
still.
you shouldn't have to worry about your IT. This should be standard operating procedure provided to everybody at the same time. No confusion and no guessing. Fair enough?
We'll get it.
John, is that good with you? Good? Thank you all. Ms. Rosia, thank you. Yes.
Wasn't Brian's shift before the December 2025 rule that that the council put in place?
Mr. Sells, I will say that I believe it was probably September, October that Mr. Butler put that through, made that official request. I believe that's the documentation. And we're going to go through that to make this right. We'll get this done the proper way. We'll deal with the lack of notification. Believe me, it's being looked at
But
right
if he
now.
applied.
Yes, sir.
Then it should just be done, because you guys didn't change the rule until after he applied.
Well, we're working on that right now, and we'll take care of business on that, I promise. Fair?
Can we get a list of those board members and what seats they occupy, so everybody understands what seat they're actually in based on the legislation?
Howard, absolutely, we'll get that done. That'll be part of that procedure. So it won't be, we won't have to guess at that anymore. Whether it's Frogmore here, proximity to Frogmore, proximity to Hilton Head, you'll know it all ahead of time. There won't be any, who's done what. It'll be automatic.
It's also important then that we know our terms of expiration, right? Because we're going to have to go through this process as well, right?
100%.
That was the point I was
Yeah.
raising, David.
So we need to make sure if I want to stay on the board, I want to apply well in advance so I don't skip any meetings. So, and that's up to the chair and the vice chair to go, well, David's going to expire here. Do you want to reapply? Yes. Or well, let's do this well in advance. So
Absolutely.
they can go through the process.
But we don't have to reapply. We just have to acknowledge we want to continue to serve, right?
And that's all it takes is.
Whatever the procedure
Yeah,
is.
as
there's
long
gonna
as
be
you're
a-
not changing seats, the
Correct,
assigned seat
correct.
based on your location.
Okay.
Again, this will be clear, it'll be concise, it'll be stepped, and you'll know it ahead of time. You won't have any issue with it.
But it is important to know what role we're supposed to fulfill.
100%.
Yeah,
Oh, no doubt. Listen,
Yep.
Absolutely.
we had some dealings with this for a while now, the last month or so, and it's been a challenge, but we'll get it done, all right? But I appreciate your understanding, and we will have this taken care of.
Great.
Fair?
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Tom.
sir.
Oh, gosh,
Appreciate
you got
it.
it. Thank you. Yep.
All right. Having no more citizen comments, move to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Got one? All right.